of a 20-unit motel, Rushford Inn. See attached staff report, site map, and engineer's estimate cost.
Your Honor, we need to, in my opinion, the city should provide a study to confirm the soil conditions of that site for this building that's being proposed, and also to conduct a phase 1 environmental study just to make sure that we're selling property that doesn't have any sort of issue with it. We don't believe that there is, based upon past uses that people can recollect, but it would be good to at least rule that out. You have a total cost of $7,353 from our city engineer, and I got the work plan from Braun Intertech, who would be doing the work. The main issue here is the soil conditions from a previous soil analysis that was done back in 1998. It just the soils were going to be a huge issue for putting the building up. The belief, though, is that over time soils can change a little bit, and the thought is that with a good current soil analysis, the builder that's been designated from the developer, he can go and figure out a way to engineer the building and put it on that site so that it'll work for him.
Is it a matter of compaction or what?
It's the type of soils.
Types?
Yeah. It's got organic clay in it, so as the organics break down, the silt and the clay and the sand mix together, and it doesn't provide a strong enough base to build upon. There are a couple of options. Even back in '98, they talked about having a floating slab pilings down. There are some new techniques now, but you know, again, if the motel is a big, is an issue for us that we want to address, this would be one way to move forward. The other thing is if we end up finding that those soils are just completely that no one could build there, it would just be cost prohibitive. Then I think the city needs to understand that that's a problem with that lot. Figure out what we're going to do with it. Because if we're not going to be able to put a building up on it, then we shouldn't have swapped it out. Right.
That land goes all the way out here to the street?
Well, that's right in front of the depot. But there's a little finger there. Yeah.
That's the street, actually, isn't it?
The depot is that.
Yeah.
There's actually there is no street, there is no alley actually platted back there behind the fire station.
Oh. Curious.
Yes.
Where the parking is in front of the depot is actually owned by the state. The parking lot in front of the depot.
That is what?
Owned by the state.
Owned by the state.
Part of the right of way. From the railroad, probably.
That's just all the land, though, that's associated with that parcel number.
Yeah. And since the city owns
We wouldn't care what's
everything
underneath
else.
that paved area.
Just as long as it doesn't migrate into the property that we're trying to sell.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that consist of 2 acres? Must be somewhere around there.
I don't think it's quite that big.
In the long term, in the long run here on this particular site, Steve, are we going to be responsible for the phase 2, or do we have a reasonable assumption from the developer that he's going to move ahead with this project if the phase 1 and the geotechnical evaluation come back positive?
Well, 2 answers. One, yes, I believe that he is going to move forward. He's working on his final finance package.
Okay.
He selected his builder. I think he's followed through. I think I first met with him the first month that I got here, so it's been a long way to get here. But that's good. He's being very diligent, but I believe he's ready to go. the other thing that's part of that though is understanding the soils, because if they're correctable but it costs money, that may influence how we do the financing. We may wanna do TIF and use the increments from the increased value of the property to pay for those improvements to the soils. But the second reason to do this is because we do need to know what the status is of those soils. Because even if he says, you know what, I don't wanna do this anymore, I'm gonna go,
We still want to develop it, and
we still need to know
we
what.
still need to know.
We need to know what stands in our way of developing that property. And if it is that, you know what, this just isn't gonna work, you'd have to drive pilings down 100 feet, or, you know, dig it all out and put all new engineered material back in, it would cost you $500,000 to prepare the lot. Then at least we know that, we won't try to market it, we can do something else with it.
Okay.
So technically, if phase one checks out in,
You don't need the phase two.
excellent.
Yes.
Okay, I move we approve this quote for the soil test analysis and environmental study from Bar Engineering.
I'll second that.
Braun.
Braun.
Misprint here.
Is it?
Bar Engineers, it says.
Yep. Under the option, but under the recommendation, as Braun. Sorry. Too many engineers.
Yeah, there is.
That's for phase one, right?
Yep.
Have a motion to
Yeah,
So this
Got
is A and B on here, right? A and B
Right.
on the quote?
Right.
Yes, on C.
The only way we need to see
Got
is if something shows up on
Yep.
phase one.
Right.
Do they automatically have to do that, or will you come back again and talk about it?
Do what?
If the first
Oh, I'm
phase
not gonna do
says come
phase
back.
two. No, we'll come back and talk about it.
If they find something on phase one, you will be doing phase two. For a cleanup, that's what it is.
Depends on the use of the land. We may be able to get by and say, you know, we're not doing the study because it's gonna be a park from now on. We're just gonna put grass on there.
That should have no trouble with compaction though, with that big pile of gravel on there.
That's what we're hoping, that big pile of
Yep.
Mount asphalt has had a good effect on it, but we don't know.
Is that a motion, Robert?
Yes.
Got a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Colvin, Mr. Dahl, second by Mr. Bunky. Any other questions, comments, or otherwise? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, thank you.